Ladies and gentlemen, today we're stepping into a world where people looked at gasoline and said, "Nice, but what if we make it slightly radioactive?" I think the 1958 Ford Nucleon is one of those ideas that proves optimism can sometimes run faster than engineering. It wasn't just a concept car, it was a rolling science fiction novel that forgot to ask physics for permission. And before we dive into this atomic dream, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because here we don't just talk about cars, we talk about the kind of ideas that make your neighbor question your sanity and your mechanic question his career. One of my followers sent me this message. So, thank you, and I am doing it. The story begins in 1958, in the United States, with the ever-ambitious Ford Motor Company. The world was deep into the atomic age, a time when nuclear power was seen not as a risk, but as a miracle waiting to happen. Governments were promoting peaceful uses of nuclear energy through initiatives like Atoms for Peace, and suddenly everything seemed possible. Ford, like many companies of the era, wanted to position itself at the forefront of this technological revolution. The idea behind the Nucleon was both simple and wildly ambitious. If nuclear reactors could power submarines and cities, why not cars? I believe this is exactly the kind of question that sounds brilliant in a meeting and slightly terrifying once you think about parking it next to your house. Interestingly, the Nucleon was never meant to be a production vehicle. It was developed within Ford's advanced styling studio, where designers were free to explore future mobility without worrying too much about practicality. No specific engineers were officially credited, which tells me this was more of a visionary exercise than a real engineering program. The target audience was not the average 1950s driver. This was aimed at a hypothetical future consumer, someone living in a world where nuclear refueling stations replaced gas stations. I think even my friend Timmy would hesitate here, and that's a man who once tried to fix a carburetor with a spoon and confidence. Production never happened, of course. The number of fully built cars is exactly 0. Only scale models were created for display, which frankly is the safest way to own something powered by uranium. Economic and technological limitations played a huge role. Nuclear reactors were simply too large, too heavy, and too complex to shrink into a passenger car. Technically, the Ford Nucleon was fascinating. Instead of a traditional engine, it was designed to use a compact nuclear fission reactor. This reactor would generate heat, turning water into steam, which would then drive a turbine connected to the wheels. Power output was never specified, which I think is fairness. You say nuclear, the exact number becomes less important and more concerning. The layout was unlike anything else. The reactor was mounted at the rear, far behind the passenger compartment, creating a cab-forward design. This was done to reduce radiation exposure, which is always a nice feature in a family car. The dimensions were unusual, long or roughly 510 centimeters, wide about 200 centimeters, and tall around 110 centimeters. The wheelbase was just 177 centimeters, giving the car proportions that looked more experimental than practical. Weight was never officially provided, and I think we can all guess why. Once you add the shielding required to keep passengers safe, you're not building a car, you're building a mobile fortress. My neighbor Bob would probably love it, though. He already thinks the government is watching him through his toaster, so a nuclear car would just confirm his suspicions. The drivetrain was expected to be turbine-based, likely driving the rear wheel. Transmission details were not specified, and suspension and braking systems remained theoretical. Fuel consumption? None in the traditional sense, since the car didn't use gasoline. Instead, Ford imagined a range of about 5,000 miles or 8,000 kilometers between reactor changes. That's impressive until you realize your fuel stop involves handling radioactive material. One of the most innovative ideas was the concept of replaceable reactor modules. Drivers would visit specialized stations to swap out depleted uranium cores. I think this sounds futuristic, but also like something Timmy would completely misunderstand and try to do himself after watching one online tutorial. Despite its brilliance, the Nucleon faced one overwhelming problem: reality. Managing the heat and radiation from a nuclear reactor in such a small space was, and still is, beyond our capability. Even experts later explained that the real challenge wasn't fitting the reactor, it was controlling the energy safely. And that's where the dream paused, quietly and probably wisely. When we move from raw concept to design philosophy, the 1958 Ford Nucleon reveals something even more interesting than its nuclear heart. I think this car wasn't really about transportation at all, it was about confidence. The design embraced the future with almost reckless optimism. That long rear section where the reactor would sit wasn't just engineering, it was a statement. We believe the future will solve this. I liked the most how the cabin was pushed forward, almost like the driver was trying to get as far away from the idea as possible, just in case. But that was the point. In the late 1950s, design wasn't just about function, it was about imagination. And the Nucleon had imagination in surplus. Now, if we compare this to the real automotive market of the time, the contrast becomes almost comedic. While Ford was presenting a nuclear-powered dream, competitors were refining V8 engines, improving ride comfort, and figuring out how to make cars more affordable. I believe this is like bringing a spaceship to a bicycle race, technically impressive, but completely missing the context. My friend Timmy once told me he could build a better engine after watching 2 videos online. That's the level of confidence. The atomic age had, but at least Ford had designers and actual data. Timmy just had enthusiasm and questionable tools. Public reaction at the time was a mix of fascination and skepticism. The Nucleon appeared in magazines, exhibitions, and discussions about the future of mobility. Now, about money, there was no original price because the car was never sold. There are no auction records for a full vehicle since none were built. However, concept models and artifacts associated with the Nucleon have been estimated in the range of $50,000 to over $200,000, depending on authenticity and condition. Not bad for something that never left the drawing board. Huge thanks to all the sponsors of the channel. You are the real fuel behind this show, and thankfully you don't require uranium. And to everyone watching, I wish you smooth roads, reliable engines, and neighbors who don't panic when you mention nuclear technology.